You know that it's interesting because every time that we teach to MBA students will say, this is interesting because every professor that is in front of us tell us that their discipline is the most important one. So probably you would say like everything is about cash flows, or everything is about innovation, innovation or CSR or whatever. So I don't know, Christine, if you have faced this, but in marketing we are having a huge challenge, and this challenge is reflected somehow in this image here. So this guy is Nirmalya Kumar, and he's was a professor at IMD, then he became professor at LBS, and now he left LBS, and now he's working as a director of strategy at the Tata Group. And he wrote a book some years ago, in fact, year 2005, 2006, and this book is based on a research done on 545 companies, and based on interviews with CEOs. And what is interesting about that research is that he found that CEOs, they say that marketing activities are every day more and more important, but marketing executives have every day less space in the CEO's agenda. So somehow it seems that marketing is important, but on the other side, it seems that CEOs, they don't care too much about marketing. And in fact, they say out of this research, said only 18% of the CEOs consider marketing to be strategic. The rest is just a tactical thing. Only 13% of CEOs have marketing backgrounds. The rest came either from finance or from sales. So the ones that generate the money or the ones that look after the money. So what I would like to discuss with you in this piece of this short session is what is marketing and why do we need it? So if they say that marketing is in crisis, the question is, well, really, is that true, or do we really need marketing or not? Or under which circumstances? So in marketing we talk about this idea of the chicken or the egg, who's first? And if we relate this to marketing, we could say that it's about supply or demand. What comes first? Is supply or is demand? So if we analyze companies in general, we would see that there are basically two approaches towards the market. On one side, we have what we call the supply approach, and the supply approach is we define products and services, and then we think who can we sell them to. So basically, it's supply approach. We focus on products, while on the other side we have the demand approach, and the demand approach we focus on needs. So it's completely the opposite. So one side we're focusing on products, and then after defining the products, where's the market? On the other side, we identify or we discover needs, and then the question is, then what can I sell? So my question here is, which approach is better? Or which approach would you like the most? I mean, the demand approach or the supply approach? Focusing on products or focusing on needs?
I guess we should say the demand approach, because that's your job.
But in your case, do you think that this is the best approach, focusing on needs?
Of course, it's the interaction between demand and supply. So you can have any demand you like, but if you can't get the products, I would like to have a robot doing groceries for me, but if there isn't any, then...
So somehow needs would determine the potential of the market.
Yeah.
Who else? Yes.
I think you need both.
You need both.
Yeah.
But if you had to choose one or the other, imagine this is like two, let's say, pure approaches. On one side, have just focusing on product, the other one focusing on needs. Which one would you prefer as CEO of the company?
The first one.
The first one. Why?
As a supplier, you try to sell what you produce, and you think that your products are going to fit some needs, or this is what you expect.
It's easier and cheaper.
You know how to do it.
Who cares about customers? Do you agree with that?
Who cares about customers? Or
For example,
Yeah.
do you care about customers? Are customers important?
Yeah, really.
Yeah, why?
Yeah, because I mean, otherwise, if I don't do what, or if I don't satisfy them, I will have no job. So, but of course, there is a combination. I mean, my job is also to tell them what will satisfy them. So it's of course it's a give and take. It's not that I only satisfy them. I also tell them you need this, and then if I deliver that, you're going to be satisfied. And then of course I create the need in some way by based on what I can sell.
But would you agree that some companies are adopting this approach, focusing on products, while other companies are focusing on needs?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like commodities. Commodities, they have a supply approach. While other companies, maybe FMCG companies, they have the demand approach. That's probably the predominant approach. So my question here is, what moderates whether you would go for one approach or the other?
How much you're stuck to a particular product?
How much stock?
No, you're stuck to. I mean, if you.
How much are you stuck with it?
Yeah, if you have factories and installations to produce specific type, high asset specificity, then it would be hard to switch. But if you're a retailer, then you can say, okay, today I buy from X,
Okay.
tomorrow I from Y. I swap products because you don't have this committed.
So the product category might determine somehow, or the business where you are in.
The business that you're in, and also the amount of asset specificity you've got.
Okay.
That's quite
Okay.
And also, I would say the loyalty of the client, it's good to sell it once, but I think it's better to sell several times. Because if you sell a product and the client goes to your competitors.
So you think that this approach is more sustainable in the long run?
In the long run. Or at least combine. Personally, I think you need to
But
combine.
also, but also if you focus, like, I took a marketing course in the beginning of my business, but and then we read this article, Marketing Myopia. And that was, I guess, if you focus too much on okay, this is what I sell, the problem is that the needs can be satisfied by something that you can't sell, but it's the same need. Like, we want transportation. Okay, I don't care if it's a bus, train, I want the fastest transportation.
So that's a problem probably of the supply approach.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me show you an example. You know, some years ago, in fact, the year 2009, I went on vacation to Syria. Not a very good place to go today. but this was interesting because while we were there in Damascus, we were walking inside this Soko. You know, Soko, this large Arab bazaar. And what was interesting about this is that while we were walking inside the Soko, we saw a lot of people eating ice cream. And the ice creams were like, this is a picture of the ice cream. And there were lots of people eating these ice creams, and they were quite interesting. I mean, this is, he's a consumer. He's a consumer, getting ice cream.
That's for him?
For the full family.
Okay.
So there were a lot of people eating ice cream, so we were just following them until we reached the shop. And the shop was super special because it was this one, huh? It's Bagdash. So what we see here is a window that looks to the street. What I don't have pictures of is what's happening over here. And here there is a super long line. Right? Then what I do have is a picture of what's inside the store. Yeah? A lot of people trying to get the ice cream. So that window over there is this one. But what was really interesting is what was happening over here. Because here we have the delivery. And it was a perfect supply chain. So the first guy, he had a box of cones, the other one had a box of strawberry, the other one had strange flavor, something like cream or something like that, and then the other one had pistachio. So if you reach to get to the front desk, you ask for the ice cream. The first guy will take a cone, give it to the other one. The other one will put 1 scoop of strawberry, 1 scoop of cream, and then the other one will put that with pistachio. So it's a sort of perfect supply chain. 2 versions. One is a cone takeaway. The other one is that glass cups
The bowls.
for in-store consumption. Just one single flavor or flavor variety: the cream with strawberry and with the pistachio. So those are the products. You see, it's very, very creamy. That's the product. So my question here is this a supply approach or a demand approach?
Demand.
A demand? Why a demand?
Probably because it was so good that everyone wanted to have that one. They had to work out the supply.
But remember that the demand approach is you go to the market and you ask, what do they want? And then you create the products.
All right.
Well, in the supply approach, you create the product and you try to put the products in the market.
It feels like they have concentrate. We can do pistachio, we can do strawberry, and we can do cones or this glass bowl. That's it.
That's it.
Buy it.
Do you care about consumers?
No.
It works.
Works.
Yeah.
Do you think we have to think of the consumer?
For me, the ice cream is really good, so they all come, and they know there are just 2 flavors. Or, they know what
Would you
they
be
get.
interested in introducing a new flavor? Imagine the owner of Baghdad is very successful, and then the kid, his son, comes and, Dad, you know, I was standing in the line, and someone said, should I have chocolate flavor? He said they would like to have more variety, chocolate, orange, or whatever. Do you think the father would say, okay, let's introduce a new flavor? Makes sense?
Depends.
Depends on what.
Well, on a number of things. Is there a continuous demand for the same flavors, or do you want to have an evolution? Maybe there will be an ice cream store opening up next door and taking away some customers. Maybe there's a McDonald's where they can, I don't know. So, yeah, the rate of change you spoke about is intervenes here. And so, of course, I mean, these days it's hip to say, well, everything has to change continuously. I'm a bit more traditional in that sense and say, okay, if you have a good product and there's a good demand, why change? But you cannot always say, okay, I continue doing what I'm doing. It will depend on how your environment evolves.
So if this is a supply approach, okay, what would make this company transition from a supply approach into a demand approach?
There is a drop in sales, for example.
It's a drop in sales.
Drop in sales or in profitability, drop in sales.
Let me show you another example. It's on Tel Aviv. So we have there, inside the shop, 2 brands like Nestle and Unilever fighting for consumers' share of stomach. Do these companies have a supply approach or a demand approach?
Supply.
Supply? They just create the products and put them in the market? Or they care about customer needs?
They probably tested them.
Yes, probably they don't propose the same products in Tel Aviv than they will in the US or in Spain or
But
Italy.
in this case, I mean, you see, inside this, do you think the products that are inside the fridges are the same ones?
Yes.
Yes?
I think there may be some different flavors or slightly different, but they are similar.
Do you think they have just one single flavor?
No, they have several.
Why?
Because maybe they sell to kids, they sell to parents, they